It's another beautiful day here in the Shire. And far from here, in an 1870s Boston hotel kitchen, a legend was born. Those soft folded rolls left the hotel, rolled the rails, and eventually landed on the White House holiday table. Ever since, families have been counting down how many are left in the basket and pretending they didn't just take their third one. This time, Renee's making
Parker House rolls. This is something I grew up with because my mother made them. They were my absolute favorite. To do this right, you need to know how to build a dough that's silky instead of sticky, how to shape that classic folded roll, and how to load in the butter so they stay tender and rich without getting greasy. And today, I'm going to show you exactly how to make them. First step, I've got some warm water here and some yeast, and I am going to just soften this yeast by pouring this warm water in there and letting this sit while we do the next few steps. The next step is I'm going to get some milk.
On the roll, you'll remember, even when the turkey's gone. And Parker House forever.
And this does not need to be cold. I prepped earlier for this video, and I'm going to put it in this pan, and we're going to scald this. This is a really old-fashioned recipe, and we are going to keep an eye on this. The purpose for scalding is to break down those proteins so that it bakes better. This is a very soft dough. Historically, it was to kill the bacteria in the milk, but hopefully these days we don't have that problem as much. As we're waiting for this, you can see how the yeast is softening up there. Okay, so there's some steam coming off of this, and now at this point you want to just really watch this. You've got about 2 minutes before it starts steaming like this on a medium heat. We just don't want it to burn to the bottom. Milk is notorious for burning to the bottom if you don't keep an eye on it. And if you've ever scalded milk before, that smell is such a childhood memory. We scalded milk for everything, and it's just the best smell. And there it goes. I feel like there we've got some bubbles here. It's all around the edge, and I am turning this off now. That is as hot as I want that. Okay, so now we're going to cool this down, and the best way to cool this down is to put it in a pan, a wider pan, so that it starts cooling down. And to this, we are going to add some sugar. And today I am using lard. You can use shortening or butter. The lard, I like the texture with the lard. This is really old-fashioned, old-school cooking. But if you want the butter flavor, you can also add butter to this. Instead of, you can, whatever fat you're comfortable with. And then we've got some salt. We're going to put that in. Okay, so we're going to just melt this all in there. Okay, so now I'm not going to use a thermometer for any of this. This is the way I learned to do this. Right now, I can stick my finger in. It's quite hot. I can't hold it there for 10 seconds. I was taught that if you can stick your finger in for 10 seconds, then it's warm enough to pour yeast into. Do not pour yeast into this at this moment. It will kill it. So we're going to wait for about, I would say, 5 to 7 minutes until this cools down, and I'll just continue to come over, stir it, and swirl it around the bowl while we're waiting for that to cool, and we'll be back. Okay, for the next step, I'm going to use a mixer today. You can use a whisk for this, but I think it works better with a mixer. You can put it in your, your stand mixer as well, but it's not really necessary. So I have about 3.5 cups of flour here, and I'm going to pour in about a cup of it, and I'm going to beat that, mix it together. Get all that mixed in well. And then we're going to add 1 egg. And I do like to mix this before I put it in, just to make sure all of those egg whites are mixed in with that. Okay, we're going to add the egg. And then we're going to add the yeast. Okay. Give this a mix. Make sure there aren't any lumps in there. Okay. So you just want to make sure that sometimes that yeast clumps up a little bit, and you just want to make sure that you've got all of that. I got a little bit more in there. And now I'm going to add the rest of this flour. I'm going to reserve about a half a cup of that. And we're going to mix that really well while scraping the sides. We're looking for a wet dough, but you want to be able to touch it. And we're going to beat this really well. And I am going to add the rest of that. That's a good sign when it starts to try to crawl up the beaters, so I'm pretty happy with this. And I'm going to let that be. Get those beaters cleaned off. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a little bit of butter and I'm just going to butter this pan. And I want this in a smaller bowl. Beating it in a bigger bowl is just easier, but I want this to rise in a smaller bowl so it all stays together and the heat stays in it together. I find that it works better if your bowl is approximately the size of the dough. And we're going to scrape this out. As much of that as you can. Okay, so what you want now, you want to cover this dough with the towel. And we're going to let this rise for about a half an hour, and I'll be back to show you how to stretch this, and then we'll let this go. Thank you. We'll be back. I'd like to know if you grew up with these on your Thanksgiving table, or would this be a whole new tradition for you? Tell me in the comments below if your team always had them, or are you team where have you been all my life? Tell me in the comments below. I'd love to hear from you. Okay, so now we're going to stretch this dough just one time. It also gives me the opportunity to make sure I have enough flour in it. There's a very happy balance between too much and too little. So let's take a look at this. And I have a little bit of flour here that I'm just going to get my hands covered in. And I'm just going to take one hand and go underneath and stretch this kind of like sourdough. That looks pretty good. I can touch it. Oh my gosh, that feels like heaven. I'll go around one more time. See, it's not really sticking. We've got some nice bubbles in there. And then that is lovely. What I'm going to do with this now is cover it back up. And I'm going to let it rise until double, about probably another hour. The first thing we're going to do is grease this pan. This recipe makes supposedly 36 rolls. So I am going to grease this and see how we do. All right, I'm going to put this over here. And I am going to flour the counter. To get the bread. This dough looks perfect, and it is silky and smooth, and it feels so soft. This is my favorite dough. My mother used to make these, and every single time she made them, I could smell them from all over the house, and they are absolutely the most tender roll on the planet, and there's just something so magical about them. So I've put the flour on the board, and now I'm just gonna sprinkle the top lightly with a little bit of flour. I'm gonna flour my rolling pin, and then we're just gonna lightly roll this out into a circle. See all the air bubbles in there. Oh, it just looks so beautiful. Just try to get it even all the way so they cook evenly. All right, and I'm actually gonna measure this so we know. So that is about that's exactly 1/4 of an inch there. Yep, so it's pretty close. I can tell that's a little bit more. All right, we need to melt some butter because we're gonna butter these, and we just want to melt this down. We're gonna keep an eye on this. I just want it melted. I don't want it too hot. I'm gonna dip this in here, and we're gonna start cutting these. This is a 2.5 inch round cutter. I think this was my grandmother's recipe that I'm using. It said 1962 on the card, so I know this is an old one. Okay, so those are cut properly. That was not good. Oh dear. Sorry. And that butter is melted enough for my liking. It's not quite melted all the way, but it will, and I don't want that to be too hot. So what I'm going to do is pick these up and put them over here. Okay, we've got that. Now we're just going to roll this up and kind of squish it all together. Just fold it like this so we get those pieces. And doing this is going to cause that to tighten up a little bit. So while we're waiting for that to loosen up so that I can roll it out again, we'll put it over there, and I'm going to bring this pan over here and show you how best to do these. Take my melted butter, and what we're going to do is we're going to brush them with butter. And then we're going to take our knife and we're just going to fold these over. And my mother, I realized in looking at recipes for this, did them upside down. The way they originally made is that this top piece is supposed to go over the bottom piece. I grew up with them like this. I think they're delicious, and I'm just going to do it. So I'm just pulling that over, sealing those edges a little bit, and then just folding them so that they're almost all the way across, but not quite. And then I'm just going to pick these up and move them back that way. Okay, so that's how they're going to look. I'm going to finish the rest of those, but the next step here is you're going to butter the top of those. These have to rise until double. It usually takes about a half an hour. So now what I'm going to do with these is cover them with the towel again. Lost my towel. I'll find my towel. And then we're going to let these rise about 30 minutes, and then we'll cook them. Okay, so these have risen till they're about double in size, and now I'm going to put them in the oven, 350 degrees. They look gorgeous. and they're going to bake for approximately 15 minutes. So we'll put these in, and I can't wait until they come out. My favorite. Okay, 15 minutes and we'll be back.
This is the part where the whole house starts to smell like butter and warm yeast. And everyone just checks in with the kitchen every 3 minutes to see if any help is needed. Gotta say it, guilty as charged. Be right back.
Okay, so let's give these a check. It's been exactly 15 minutes. Oh my word. These, look at those. This is awesome. Oh, I just want to touch them. They're really hot. I just want to look and see if they browned on the bottom. Oh, look at these. Look. That is like the best looking thing ever. Oh, that looks just like my mother used to make them. This is where you slap a piece of butter when you're getting ready to eat them. And you put it right in there. Woo, hot, hot. Woo. Okay, we're going to wait 5 minutes and then we're going to come back and try these. Okay, so these have cooled off just a little bit. And so this is so brown and lovely. And if you open this up, it's got this little crack. And if you just put a little bit of butter in the middle and a little bit of jam, you have got the best tasting snack on the planet. Oh. Oh my, it tastes like home. That looks perfect. Then you've got this, oh, so delicious. I hope you make these, and I hope if you make them for Thanksgiving, your guests enjoy them. Thank you so much.
Ready for seconds? Don't put your spoon down yet. Tap this video, and Renee will meet you there.